Hi students, you are welcome to the last facilitation class on AEA 308, Principle of Farm Management. Today is lesson 8, that is the revision class. And I know you enjoyed topic 1 to 7. So what we are going to do here will be a review of what we have done so far. So I will encourage you to pay attention to our discussion today. I am Dr. Helen Inyang, your course facilitator. Thank you. Yeah, once again, our lesson for discussion today is lesson 8. That is the revision class on AEA 308, Principle of Farm Management. Introduction. Agriculture is regarded as the acts and science of cultivating crops, raising livestock, provision of raw materials for industries, and marketing of agricultural products for man's use. There are many branches of agriculture which among others includes agricultural economics, crop science, soil science, animal science, fishery, forestry, agricultural engineering. Agricultural economics involves the application of economic principle in agriculture. So one of the important branch of agricultural economics is farm management, which we have already covered, and then we want to review the course module today. In week 2, the topic we treated was the meaning, principle, and function of farm management. This covers module 1, 2, 3, and 4. And module or unit 1. This covers module 1, units 1, 2, 3, and 4. In unit 1, we were able to see the nature and scope of farm management. The nature and scope of farm management. So which we see that farm management is concerned with, that is the meaning, the farm management itself is concerned with effective employment of socially acceptable guidelines for all levels of organizations. So the scope of farm management is that farm management is as wide as the scope of agricultural economics itself, because there is hardly any aspects of agricultural economics that is not related to farm management. So the broad scope of farm management could be viewed from its broad function, which includes planning, organizing, directing, implementing, control, and risk management. That is the scope. Then we were also able to look at the basic principle. We saw the general principle as well as the basic principle. So the general principles, we were able to identify about 14 of them, which includes division of labor, authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command, scalar change, SPD, decor, and so on. Then the basic principle of farm management includes the planning and control. We're able to look at, there are 4 basic principles. We have the planning and control, organization, coordination, and motivation. So we were also able to look at the characteristics of agriculture, characteristics of agriculture, which we discovered that one of the characteristics is that we discovered agriculture is bulky. That is the farm produce. It is bulky. The characteristics of agricultural products, one is bulky, is seasonal, is perishable, and is perishable. Those are the things we were able to see. We were also able to see some of the characteristics of agriculture, like we're also able to look at see some of them were production uncertainty, because the farmer will only know when he cultivates the crops. He doesn't know what will be the end products, the outcome of it, the yield, because of the risks involved in agricultural production. One another characteristic is price changes. We also saw government action and policy as another characteristic of agriculture. We also see the action of other people as another characteristic. Then also the health of the farm workers, and as well as other risks and uncertainty that constituted problems in agricultural production. Then we were also able to, under this situation, decision-making functions of farm management. So we were able to treat the decision-making functions of farm management. Normally when as a farmer, you must take a decision that will help in combating the problems of uncertainty as far as agricultural production is concerned. So we were also able to see different methods of risk management in agriculture, which includes flexibility, diversification, contracts, insurance, inventory management, guarantee minimum price, and so on. So the decision here, as the name implies here, under the decision of farm management, or a decision of a function of decision making of a manager, we were able to identify, look at the concepts of decision making, the process of decision making, and we were able to see that one is the identification of the problem, definition of the problem. The decision making helps in that: identify the problem, define the problem, analyze the suggested solution, select the best solution, implement decision, and then evaluate. We also were able to look at the different types of decision making in a farm manager. It can be the problem, that is, once the problem is the types of problem faced by farm management, which results in decision making, that now they will look at what combination of crops to operate, of farm, what size of farm to operate, what combination of crops and livestock to produce, what system of farming should follow, what is the market or the most profitable method of production given the available resources. Then also what kind of machinery and equipment to be used, at what level of production do we need substitution, and also how much of family labor and how much of pet labor that needed to be used, and so other questions emanated as results of this. So the decision-making function of the farm manager includes this. We have forecasting, planning, organizing, coordinating, motivation, staffing, directing and leading, communication, control, and supervision. In this unit, we were able to look at all these. So that is in week 3 now. We were able to look at the common concepts and tools in farm management. That is, under this we have, we were able to cover Module 2, Unit 1, 2, and 3. In Unit 1, we look at the economic principle and farm management. So, under this economic principle of and farm management, we were able to discuss diminishing returns, and the law was stated, and also we were able to look at principle of substitution as well as opportunity cost in the course of our discussion under economics principle and farm management. We were also able to look at diversification and specialization. Then in Unit 2, we were also able to discuss, that's in Unit 2, that is the farm cost. We were able to look at the meaning of farm cost, and we were able to make little calculation on farm costs. We were able to make little calculations on farm costs. We were also able to talk about the different types of farm costs, which includes variable costs, overhead costs, financial costs, capital costs, and personal costs. We were also able to look at the different types of variable costs as well as different types of overhead costs or fixed costs. Then in this, still in Module 2, we were able to look at valuation and depreciation of farm assets, that is Unit 3. So we were able to look at different methods of valuation. Valuation at cost, valuation as less depreciation charges, valuation at market price, valuation at cost or market price, whichever is lower. We were able to look at them. We were also able to define depreciation charge. We were able to look at the advantages. We were also able to look at the three common methods of estimating depreciation charges, which include straight line methods, decline balance method, and sum of the year digits method. And also we were able to look at some calculations involving the straight line methods, that is involving this annual depreciation, straight line methods, decline balance methods, as well as the sum of the years digit method. We were also able to talk about salvage value. We were also able to make some calculation on salvage value. We were also able to make some calculation on salvage values. Week 4, we were also able to, the topic of our discussion in week 4 was literate versus illiterate farmers in farm management and farm inputs management. So this covers Module 2, Unit 4, and Module 3, Unit 1, 2, and 3. So in the course of our discussion, we were able to consider the literate versus the distinction between literate and illiterate farmers. And also we were able to look at their variation, that the concepts of literate and illiterate farmers. We were also able to look at their characteristics of Nigerian agriculture. So, which includes a high level of illiteracy, small farm size, fragmented land, poor technology, low level of investment, and then low level of outputs. So, like I said, we were able to make some distinction between illiterate and illiterate farmers. Then in Module 3, Unit 1, we were able to discuss about land. We were able to define land, then state the characteristics of land. As land, we said land is defined as a farm resources given by nature. The land resources include soil minerals, forests, fishing ground, and climates. So land is all the resources that exist naturally and contributes to the production of farm outputs are all classified as land. So we were also able to look at the characteristics of land, which number one is that land is a gift of nature. Number two, land is relatively immobile. Three, land is fixed in supply. Four, the reward of land is rent. Five, land varies according to location. Then we were also able to look at the land management practice, which consists of made up of physical and cultural measures. Then we were also able to look at the cost of land and how much the land was. Then also we were also in unit 2. We discussed about capital. We were able to define capital as the produce means of production. And then we were also able to look at characteristics of capitals, which is one of the major characteristics is man-made. Also, number two, that capital assets normally lose value with years. Another thing, capital assets used to acquire other goods. We use capital assets to acquire. All these are characteristics. And then capital assets can be stored. Also, capital assets can be classified into fixed and variable. So those were the characteristics of assets. We were able to also look at the types of capital. We have fixed, variable, long duration capital, medium duration capital, short duration capital, constant flow capital, market risk capital. And we were also able to look at the different sources of capital, which through savings, money lenders, cooperative society, commercial banks, and others. Also, government institution too was also as a source of capital. Then we were also able to look at the importance of capital. So we stated the importance of capital, and also still in unit 3, we discussed about labor. We were able to discuss labor. We define labor as all human effort, which may be physical or mental, skilled and unskilled, used in the production processes. Then we were also able to look at the different characteristics of labor, that labor varies in quality from one person to another. Labor can be classified into productive and non-productive. Then labor is that it is also perishable. Labor productivity varies with time because of age and length of workers. Labor is mobile, that is, can move from one place to the other. Labor has feeling and its consent must be sought before it is used in production. Labor cannot be stored like capital. Unlike land, labor is not fixed. Then we were also able to look at labor supply. Also, we were able to look at different types of labor, which we have skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled labor. We were also able to look at the different sources of labor. The labor can be obtained from family, hired or paid, exchange or communal labor. So we also were able to discuss on the efficiency of labor. Then management and supervision of labor was also taken into consideration. Then we were also able to look at the different management of labor. Then steps is in use in calculation of efficiency of labor. And then we were also able to look at the both advantages and disadvantages of labor. Then that takes us that we were able to, going through that, we have finished let's week 5, that is topic week 5 topic, or sorry, week 4 topic. So we also look at week 5. Week 5, the topic was farm inputs management and forms of organization. So under here, we were, because entrepreneur is also one of the farm inputs. So we were able to look at the three different farm inputs in week 4. That is the labor capital and land. So today we are in week 5. We were able to discuss define entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, we were able to define it. Entrepreneur or enterprise organization describe the function of taking decision about what to produce and who combines the other factors of production to produce what he has decided on. That is entrepreneur. So we were also able to look at the functions of entrepreneur, like provision of capital, risk bearing, decision taking, coordination of other factors, efficient management, miscellaneous function. So we were able to consider all this. Farm organizational chart, that's a typical farm organizational structure. We were also able to consider it. That starts from general manager, assistant general manager, financial control, livestock manager, crop manager, then director of, please go and remove that in the engine room. Go to that engine room. Remove that thing. Just plug it out completely. Then that is under entrepreneurship. We were able to look at all these, the organizational structure, and then in module 4, we were able to consider unit 1 of module 4, single proprietorship or sole proprietorship. This, as it is the simplest of uh, form of business in farm organizations. It is a one-man business, and then it exists where the whole business owned. It exists where the whole business is owned and controlled by just one person. So he bears the risk alone, and all forms of profits he also bears the loan, and also he bears unlimited liability. Then we were also able to look at the characteristics of sole proprietorship. We were also able to look at the advantages as well as disadvantages. Then the next one was a unit 2, partnership. We were able to define partnership as a relationship which exists between two or more persons who by an agreement decide to run a business together and share the risks and profits of the business. Then we were also able to look at the partnership deeds. We also look at the different types of partnership, which have ordinary or active partner, as well as limited or sleeping partner. We were also able to look at the different features, that is characteristics of partners, and we consider the advantage and disadvantages of partnership. Then in unit 3, we were able to look at the cooperative or limited liability companies, and we were able to define it as an expansion of our partnership principle. It aims at securing better method of mobilizing financial resources. The company came into existence when persons joined together to invest their money in a common enterprise. So we were also able to look at the limited liability companies, that is the types: private limited liability company and public limited liability company or joint stock company. Those are the types of limited liability company. We were also able to see the difference between the two of them And also we were able to look at the characteristics of a limited liability company. Also, we were also able to look at the advantages and disadvantages of this limited liability company. So that takes us to the end of week 5. In week 6, we were able to look at the topic that's titled Cooperative Society and the concepts of farm records and accounting. So here we were able to define cooperative society that as a form of business voluntarily owned, organized and upgraded by members by members for their mutual benefits. So we also were able to look at the characteristics of cooperative society, that which includes open membership and others. So we were also able to look at the different types of cooperative societies, which includes producers cooperative society, consumers cooperative society, marketing cooperative society, tariff and credit cooperative society, multi-purpose cooperative society, and other cooperative societies. We were also able to look at the different advantages and disadvantages of this society, cooperative society. Then in module 5, this takes us to, we were able to consider two modules in module 5. That is two units in module 5, units 1 and 2. That is the concept of farm records and accounting, and as well as farm records design. So, and then in unit 1 of module 5, we look at the meanings of farm records. Farm records are written documents or written records or documents of activities on the farm. So while farm accounts are financial records of what the farmer spent or received on the farm. So we were able to look at the design of this designs, the two major design, farm accounts design, which includes the capital provision or net worth of the farm, that is balance sheet, and also the income and the expense, that is profit or loss in the farm business. So we were also able to see, to look at the advantages or importance of keeping farm records and accounting. So we also able to look at the different types of farm records and accounts, which we have production records, we have income and expenditure records, we have inventory records, we have miscellaneous records. That is the different types of farm records we were able to have. And then in the areas of farm records, we will also have design farm records. We're able to design different types of farm records. So farm records for the type of crop enterprise, livestock enterprise, interest of the farmers, that is normally that the factors that contribute to the design of farm records includes the interest, the type of farm enterprise or crop enterprise, the type of livestock, interest of the farmer. That is what constitutes or what's the motivating factors that give room to designing of any type of records, farm records available. So we were also able to design farm records for the simple farm records and accounts for crop enterprise, which includes cropping records, machineries and equipment records, labor records, commercial chemical input use records, crop harvest records, sales records. And then we were also able to look at the simple farm records and accounts for poultry enterprise, which includes feed records, other cost records, flock number records, egg production records, egg sales record, chicken sales record. Then we were also the third one. We're able to also design a simple farm records and account for other livestock, that is ruminant animals, which includes feed records, labor records, other cost records, livestock number records, meat or beef sale records, milk production records, milk sales records. Then in week 7, where that is all about the what we carried out in week 6. Then in week 7 was the topic was benefit cost analysis of agricultural projects and financial statement. So we were able to define benefit as means any increase in production or any gain in goods, materials, and service which emanate from the projects. We also look at costs as the expenditure or consumption of goods, materials, and services for construction and maintenance of projects. So then that means benefit cost analysis is a term used to refer to decision-making processes for the production of public goods, that is agricultural goods. So we were also able to look at the benefit cost ratios. We consider the benefit cost ratio. We're able to classify cost and benefit into intangible and tangible. Then when we talk about intangible, and then all these were also classified under tangible and benefit and cost were further subdivided into direct, that is primary, and indirect, that is secondary. So we looked at them one after the other. So we were able to identify all these costs and benefits, and then we were also able to look at the other aspect, that is the financial statement. So we discussed so much on the benefits, and then we now come into discussing financial statement, that is unit 4. Financial statement, that is the main meaning of assets under that is an asset is anything of value possessed by a business or any claims to value on possession to others. So in agriculture, farm assets refers to all materials, example goods and services owned by the farmer and used in production processes. We have this the following, that assets can be classified into two. We have fixed assets, we have working assets, and current assets. Then we also was able to discuss the meaning of liability. Liability is in accounting means any claims which people outside business have against the business. So in farm business, liability refers to goods and services which the farm owns to others. So these are the different types of liability. We have long-term liability, medium-term liability, short-term or current liability. Then we were also able to look at a balance sheet, which is the best possible measure of capital position of a farm. At any given time is shown by yearly is shown by with the use of a balance sheet. So balance sheet shows the assets and liability of farm business at a specific point in time, usually the last day of the financial year. So we were able to so illustrate it using example of a farm, a poultry farm. We're able to illustrate the balance sheet. We were also able to look at the net worth, discuss the net worth or net capital. So net worth or net capital is amount by which total value of asset exceeds the total value of liability within a specific period or a period of time. So we were also able to calculate net worth from these various examples. We also were able to calculate net worth ratios as well. We were also able to calculate the working capital ratios. We were able to talk about the current capital ratios and so on. So in the course of it, we will also happen to discuss on our profits and loss accounts. We'll talk about the total products on return, total expenditure. Then we also consider the profit on net farm income. So that is all what we were able to cover in the model. That is, we were in the course of our facilitation, we were able to cover this. We were able to cover the 5 models contained in the principle of farm management. Farm management is a science which deals with proper combination and operation of production factors such as land, labor, and capital. In this course, you have learned about aims and objectives of the principle of farm management, as well as the areas needed to be covered in the course materials. We're able to cover all those areas to be covered. So in this lesson, we have learned about summary. In this lesson, we have learned about the aims and objectives of this course. The facilitation took us a period of 8 weeks to cover the course contents. Within this period, the 5 modules in the course materials were covered for the semester. So I wish you now success.